Hi everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on providing accessibility within maths. My name's Jake, and alongside my colleague Laura, who's going to give you a wave, we're going to take you through our Equatio software. I'm just going to share a presentation in a second. Before I do, I just want to mention that today there will be no live captions. However, please do feel free to email us and we can provide those afterwards. So, as I mentioned, I'm Jake, and my colleague's Laura, and our email address is on your screen there. So please, if you have any questions following today's webinar, or if you want to reach out to us directly, please do use either our email or our Twitter handle. Hopefully we'll get around to answering a few of your questions today. If not, please do feel free to fire them across to us. I am just going to give you a bit of a background on the company that created Equatio, which is TextHelp, and I'm going to start off with our vision. So essentially, we see a world where difference, disability, or language are no longer barriers. And we provide students software, we provide staff software to be able to make sure that those barriers are eliminated, regardless of disability or language. And that links nicely into our purpose as a company and the fact that we want to help everybody understand and be understood. And we do that through our software, which hopefully you'll see a bit of that in the Equatio software today. So our Equatio software is our math and STEM tool, if you'd like. And now the symbols on your screen here are just a few to show the multitude of platforms that Equatio works within and across. Now it works across Google. So Laura will be showing you a little bit of our Google toolbar today, as well as MathSpace. I'll be delving in a little bit into the Windows toolbar. And if you are interested in how Equatio can integrate with your LMS, please do feel free to pop us an email across and we'll be able to show you that in a little bit more detail based on your own LMS. Now, with any of our software, and particularly Equatio, it's important to provide students with the tools that then provide them with the opportunity to be able to learn and reach their potential. And in doing so, hopefully providing them with a voice so that they can achieve and excel. And hopefully you'll see a bit of that in what we're going to show you today with Equatio and how those features and tools can provide them with that platform. How does Equatio do that? So it provides students with a range of different features, such as handwriting, type, speech, LaTeX, and also the use of mobile device to be able to scan any handwritten information and then upload that into their live document. It gives them a smart prediction equation library, as well as integrated graphing. Again, it works across the PC, Mac, Chrome, PDFs, and a wide range of different platforms. And obviously, it is brilliant for math and science subjects, as I said. But today is about supporting the integration of tech, particularly within maths using Equatio. So I am just going to jump into a Word document here and show you our toolbar. And then I'll hand over to Laura so she can show you it in a Google platform, as well as our MathSpace. So hopefully you can all see this Word document here. I'm just going to open up our Equatio toolbar. So what you'll see across the bottom of my screen is our Equatio toolbar here. Now, before I jump into any of the wonderful features of Equatio, I am just going to jump into the settings to take you through a couple of the accessibility features that you can change within our settings within Equatio. So, for example, something very, very simple, however, can be really effective, is just changing the size of the font that you're able to create within Equatio. Again, you've got several different languages, which is integrated with there, as well as being able to customize the speech engine. However, I keep mine automatic and recommended. Now, in the section here, these toggle on and off features, you're able to see that I'm able to toggle on and off the prediction feature for math, chemistry, and formulas. Now, that can be useful. I leave it as all three preset on. However, if a student is not going to be using any of the chemistry within the Equatio prediction feature, they can turn that off and toggle it to personalize it to their use. And to personalize the toolbar even more, they're able to toggle on and off the features within Equatio. So for example, if I know as a student I'm not going to be using the graphing editor, I can turn that off and it will remove it from my toolbar and allow me to focus solely on the tools that I need and are going to be useful to me. From a desktop option, I have the ability to insert the math as a word equation. Now, I also have the option to use this within PowerPoint as well and across our range of Office 365 apps. Again, I've got the ability to control the speed of the speech there, as well as flick autoplay on and off, particularly when using our screenshot reader functionality, which I'll show you. So now I'm just going to save that and jump into the toolbar. The first one I want to show you is this equation editor here. So now what this allows students to utilize is our prediction feature. So if I'm going to start typing QU, I'm looking for a quadratic formula. Now what you'll see is it's given me the option to select multiple different formulas here that all start with the letters QU. Here I was looking for a quadratic formula, so I'm able to select that and you'll see it pre-format in the box. Now what I can do with that is I can go into the More section, I can add that to my favorites, I can customize any of the information in the equation editor box. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to insert this directly into my Word document. So what you'll see here is when I click into my Word document, go back down to my equation toolbar and just click Insert Maths. Now what you'll see is, you should see it, hopefully, there you go, it populates in that section there. Now, if I want to make any edits to this math, you'll see all I need to do is simply click into the math here and then click this Edit Math functionality. And then when it brings up the equation toolbar, as it's just done, and I make any edits and changes to the information that's in the equation document there, I can simply just click Insert Math, and you'll see that it just pre-populates the one that was already created and just updates it in real time. So it's not going to regurgitate the information. It's not going to give me out a brand new equation. It's just going to allow me to update the information that I've already got in the document. Now, one nice accessibility feature within Equatio is the fact that all of the information and all of the content that's produced using Equatio will have alt text built in behind it. So from a screen reading point of view, students are going to be able to use their screen reading technology, such as read and write, on the math information that they've got using and created using Equatio. Now, within this equation editor section here, as I mentioned, you've got the ability to save to your favorites, but you've also got this equation library. So you've got this wide range of different symbols and formulas and chemistry equations here for students just to be able to select from, and they're already pre-populated. But one of the things that particularly helps from an accessibility point of view is that prediction feature. So again, if students are looking for simple signs such as plus, minus, all they have to do is start typing in the first couple of letters of the word that they're looking for, and then they're able to have it pre-populated into the equation editor box and then insert it directly into the document that they're working within. Another thing to mention is our Equatio Academy. So what you'll see here is it's going to give you nice, helpful little tips and videos to be able to get the most out of the Equatio toolbar, and particularly within each individual feature. Next up, we have the Lattice Editor. And now when I'm using Screenshot Reader in a second, I'll show you how to utilize the Screenshot Reader and the Lattice Editor together. But one thing you'll see here is I'm still able to use the prediction to look for a quadratic formula. And what you're going to see here is I'm able to see it format over on the left in LaTeX. So again, for a student learning LaTeX in college to a student using LaTeX in university, they're able to see the content that they're creating using the LaTeX language here on the left-hand side. Again, from a staff point of view, from an accessibility point of view, they're able to actually visually see what it is that they're creating, which can be really, really helpful. So if I just delete that out of that box, I'll come back to the LaTeX editor in a second. Next up, you have graphing, which is powered by Desmos. So again, you have a graphing functionality within the Equatio toolbar. So to be able to go in and set individual plots on a graph, you're then able to go in and customize your axes and personalize the graph to suit obviously the student's needs. And then again, zoom in terms of being able to actually really delve into the graph. You've got the zoom functionality on the right-hand side. And then moving along, we've got the handwriting functionality, but I'm not going to show that. I'm not going to show the speech input either because I'm going to leave that up to my colleague, Laura. One thing that I'm going to show you just before I jump into Equatio Mobile is our Screenshot Reader. So using Screenshot Reader, I'm just going to jump back into web page here and show you it working on an actual web page itself. So if a student is looking for information to be able to add into their document and they're doing their research in a web page, or you've sent them a PDF to be able to sort of work from, what they can do is they can use Equatio Screenshot Reader to extract information from relatively inaccessible sources, such as PDFs, and bring that back into their accessible document, which would be a Word doc, a Google Doc. And in doing so, all they have to do is simply drag and drop this little blue box here around the information that they're looking for. Now, I've got autoplay on, so you might have been able to hear that through my headset, but what that's going to say is 3 lines, line 1, and then it's going to continue to read the math out loud. Now, if I click the little 3 dots, I've got this lovely option here to be able to copy this in multiple different formats. So, for example, copy this information as LaTeX. And now what you'll see is, if I go back into my Word document and go back into my LaTeX editor, all I have to simply do in here is copy and paste. So Control-V as a shortcut. And you can see that I've extracted information from the Word document, from a web page, and brought that into my Word document. Now, again, the information that's created here will have alt text built in behind it, so the screen reader will be able to read it aloud. So bringing it from that inaccessible format of a web page or a PDF and bringing it into a Word document can be really, really useful for students to be able to utilize that feature. And if I'm just going to cancel that out, I'll show you that one more time, but this time I'm going to show you it in a PDF. So here, for example, I have a problem sheet, which is in a PDF format, which would have very much been sent out to a student for them to be able to work from. And I'd like to say fill in, but we all know how inaccessible PDF documents can be. So using the screenshot reader, all I simply have to do is hover over the information. And what you'll see here is it copies it, reads it aloud, and again, I can go in and copy that in multiple different formats. Now, the very last feature that I want to show you before I hand over to Laura is Equatio Mobile. Now, I do just have a quick video on that, which I'm just going to talk over, just to show you it live and working, so you can see the benefit of the software itself. To get access to Equatio Mobile, all students have to do is click onto the Equatio Mobile section on their Equatio Toolbar. Then once they do that, you'll see this little QR code, which they then scan with their mobile device. Once they've done that, it'll take them to this lovely active documents page. So, for example, my Word document would come up as my active document because that's what I'm currently working in. So I'd select my Word document. Once I've done that, you'll see I get this personalized toolbar on the bottom, on the left-hand side here, just on the mobile device, which is your handwriting, speech, and then your capture method. So your handwriting and your speech input work the exact same as what I was going to show you. However, the capture method is what I like to call the golden goose of the Equatio Mobile. It allows a student to be able to use their camera, hover over any information that's handwritten, they've done in a lab book or workbook, and just simply snap a picture of it. Once they've done that, they have this option to save as maths. And when they click that, you'll see that it instantly digitally converts it. And then when they click the green tick, it allows them to just simply input that into their working document. So what you'll see here is it should go into their working document down the bottom. And when it does that, there you go. So all that's done is from their mobile device, simply snap a picture of their handwritten maths and enter it directly into their current open and active document. And then they've got digital math within the space of a couple of seconds. As I mentioned, I'm just going to pass you over to my colleague Laura so she can take you through the Google Toolbar and hopefully show you a few of our features within Math Space.
Thank you, Jake. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen now. So thank you very much for that, Jake. What I'm going to do now is show you Equatio in a Google environment. So it's very similar, as you will see. So as you can see at the bottom here, the Equatio toolbar is open. So a lot of similar features that Jake has just shown you, I'm just going to show you them in a Google environment. I'm also going to show you the speech input and the handwriting and our math space. So I'll just get started. So this would be me as a student or a teacher in a Google Doc. So if this has been emailed out to me, for example, and I've been asked to solve for X a quadratic formula, I can go, just like Jake showed us, into my prediction. So as Jake showed you there, you can start typing a few letters. So fewer keystrokes, you don't have to remember any of your keyboard shortcuts, and you can instantly get your quadratic formula. But what we can also have, we've focused very heavily on maths. If you're studying physics, for example, you can get the wavelength, and you get the equation straight away. So everything is at the students' fingertips very easily. So there's loads in there that they can go through. So what they could also look up there is, say, as an example, and again, all you do is insert it into the document and it appears here. So any math that, sorry, I keep stumbling. Any math that we create with Equatio, you can hear it back. It is accessible. You can use the screenshot reader to hear back anything. This is really useful as it will get students familiar with the language of math. So you probably couldn't hear that as well as I could because I'm using these earphones because I want to use this for the speech input, but it reads it back perfectly. Students will get used to math, how it sounds, how it looks, and also they can hear mistakes if they make them as well. So we'll just delete that out. And just as I say that, when I'm using my earphones, I'm going to use speech input. So the good thing about this is, and I'm a prime example, I keep stumbling today, it won't pick up your ims and your ahs, it will only pick up math, which is very good. I'll click this red button on the right hand side of the speech input icon, and it will start to pick up the math. 6x equals 7 multiplied. So that's just a quick example. I'll do some more here just to show you. So as you can see, it's picked it up perfectly on the right hand side, and then I can insert that into the document. If it didn't pick it up absolutely perfect, you can go in and amend it here as well. So we'll try something else. 1/4. Nope, didn't like that. That's okay. 1/4. Yeah, you just said a different way. So the students will be able to dictate their math. This is brilliant as it's all about offering students multiple means of expression. Traditionally everyone is handwriting their math, and that's not the best way for all your students to learn. But if you give them different ways to put the math onto paper, they may get more interested in math, they'll be less stressed, and they'll begin to enjoy the math. So if, for example, they want to dictate their math, it's very easy for them. But say, for example, one of your students broke their arm, you can give them an alternative way to put their math onto paper. And I keep saying paper, but I mean digital paper in this instance as well. So this is a really easy tool, and it will take away some of the stress for your students. And the next tool is handwriting. So as I said, traditionally, we're all used to handwriting math, pen and paper. Still loving pen and paper. It's still in front of me at the minute. But when you're trying to move your students to a more digital format, this might be a small step in the right direction. Instead of asking them to use the equation editor, the LaTeX editor, all of that, just say, look, do what you're doing, but handwrite on the computer instead. So it's a small step in the right direction to get them more digital savvy in regards to math. So on your left hand side here, you have an area to handwrite. So all I'm doing is using a mouse, but this would work very well on a touch screen. So if you go over to your left hand side and start to type. Very basic math, but it's just to show you how it works. So that's just me with a mouse, which isn't particularly easy and it's not perfect, but as you can see, it's picking it up perfect on the right hand side. Okay, so imagine your students who don't have very legible handwriting. So when they give you back a physical piece of paper, it can be very hard to decipher what they've written, and it may mean that they actually lose marks. But by actually giving them Equatio and giving them the option to handwrite the same way that they're used to working, but then it will create it in a digital format so that it's better laid out, it's in the correct way, and it means you can mark it correctly. So just those two tools that I've shown you, the handwriting recognition and the speech input, are two different ways that your students can input math. So you're giving them options. Students don't always like being told what to do, but if you give them a new piece of software and show them all the different options and ways that they can put the math onto paper, hopefully they will become more interested in math, and they'll be able to, and hopefully if their handwriting is more easy for you to read, they'll be getting more marks and they're becoming more confident as well. So I'm just looking. So this feature here, insert math space, if you click that, that opens our math space. So I've already opened. As I always say, Blue Peter, here's one I created earlier. So math space is an area where, as a teacher, you can create assignments. As a student, and this is my favorite part of Equatio, this is where I would mind map my thoughts. So I have all the features that me and Jake have shown you. So we have on the bottom here, the prediction editor. We have the LaTeX, the graph editor, the handwriting recognition, all of those features. But as you can see, you have additional features here. You have the freehand drawn, you have shapes. I'll just scroll down slowly to show you what you can kind of get there, but you'll see as I go through the examples. You also have a protractor, your fraction circle, you have your fraction bar, and then you also have your stem tools here as well. So as you can see here on the left-hand side, this is an example of what you may email out to your students. So it's different pages as part of one assignment. In the first image there, I just put a lot of the images that we supply. So as you can see there, I have created the coins, the fraction bars. There's even coins up here. You can, if you've got someone with very low level math, you can help them count by moving the coins about. Right angle triangles. So that's just an example. Look at how visual this becomes all of a sudden. You don't have to go onto the internet and copy and paste images. It's all available to you within MathSpace. So this is what you would do. You would then go onto the second page and start to ask them questions. So identify the numbers. So within your equation editor, you're able to insert text as well. So you can insert the text as the question so that they can hear that back so it becomes accessible. Close that. Measure all internal angles. You can do that by going in and find your protractor. And you can rotate that round whatever way you want to make it accurate. But a good thing here as well, I'm just going to delete that out of the road. So what is this shape? I'm going to pretend I don't know. I don't know what this shape is. This teacher has sent me this and I actually don't know what shape it is in order to get the answer that you're asking me. We have made this accessible. If we click on this image, on the right-hand side, there is the option to read the math aloud. Now, you'll not hear it, but I will speak out what it's telling me here. So, doesn't seem to be working. I'll try that one more time. No.
Regular pentagon.
A regular pentagon. So that's what was in my ears there now, and that's what the student would hear. So if you can imagine any shape that you put in here, the student then will be able to understand that shape. So they'll be able to hit the speech button on the right-hand side, and it will tell them exactly what that item is. On page 4 here, what I have done, so if you're used to paper exercises, you may in the past have loads of books, loads of PDFs. Instead of trying to type this all out, screenshot the images, etc., take a picture and insert an image. So insert that image, but the student has the ability to answer on the right hand side. So if, for example, you have, let me see if I don't have the other MathSpace open, that's fine. You can insert any image you wish here. If, for example, you ask them to get you an image of a pyramid or anything like that, you can easily insert that into the MathSpace. So insert files, you can insert files, images, etc., just by clicking the button on the top right-hand side. Just gone through, so you inserted your graph, you've asked them to work out a quadratic formula. So as you can see here, what you would then do is create your assignments. Over on the right-hand side, that is how you send out these assignments, and that's how the student submits it back to you as well. So again, here's another image. If I click on the image and hit play.
Reddish square-based pyramid with black border.
Reddish square-based pyramid with black border. So it's explaining exactly what's there for accessibility needs as well. So MathSpace to me is a lovely tool for you as a teacher to create math, create more visual math, and to create assignments quite quickly. As a student, what I would do then is I use all of the features down the bottom to put text, put equations, put images to help me understand it. And then, as you can just imagine, I can move this about the screen so it makes more sense to me. I definitely am a more visual person and I like to physically see something to understand it a wee bit better. And that's, again, you're just giving them another way to understand it. The accessibility features are inbuilt into it as well. So that's an absolutely brilliant feature. Within here, you have your STEM tools. So you have a scientific calculator, and I'm sure you can get a calculator in other ways on a computer, but it's all built in within the one piece of software. So they're not jumping between lots of different programs. We also have our molecular viewer. So what do we all love? We all love a bit of caffeine. So if I type the word caffeine in here, it will give me a visual image, which I can rotate. So again, even if you're in a class with 30 students, you can put this up on your screen open Equatio, and then you can visually show them what you're trying to explain to them as well. And then we have a periodic table. So there's so much built within Equatio to help you give the students a more enjoyable lesson, make it more accessible, but giving them multiple means of expressing themselves. So hopefully then, if they have different ways of expressing themselves and understanding the actual math, they can enjoy the math rather than getting stressed about it. They can begin to enjoy and interact a wee bit more in your class. So just before I go, I'm going to talk about a brand new product that we have, which is Orbit Note. So Orbit Note is a new solution from Text Help that it's a PDF solution. So it's going to help you make PDFs more accessible. So all of these features are available within Orbit Note. So it makes it accessible. You can annotate, make comments, draw shapes, all of these features here. You can have it read aloud. So this is a new product called Orbit Note. But the reason I'm showing it today is that it works with Equatio. So in regards to math and accessibility, this is major. So you're able to provide PDFs that you've had in the past to your students, annotate it, amend it, write text on top of it. Then you can use Equatio. So you can send this out to students and they can use Equatio to send you back the answer. So the first question there is, which again you can hear back using the screenshot reader. You can read every fraction.
3/10.
3/10 as an example.
4/20
4/20. So they can read all the math within this PDF and then they can answer the math as well. So I'm just going to go to handwriting. So do you know what I'm going to use? I'm actually going to use Orbit Note itself, so freehand drawn. And I'm going to, so what fraction is the equivalent to a third? 5/15. Very easy. Reply. So what is 4/20 in its simple form? I'm going to go down here to answer that. And I want to put, sorry. Sure, why that's not picking me up there. So I want to put 1/5. Oh, that's fine. And then I will move that down to here and make it a wee bit smaller. And there's my answer. So we're able to make a PDF accessible for you that you can amend, plus then Equatio works with it. So all of these features here, so they can actually put the answers back onto the PDF and send them back to you. So imagine how easy that will make your life and how easy then the student is able to put the answer back onto the PDF for you as well. So just before I finish off, I think I've shown you everything that I would like to have shown you today. I just want to bring you some really exciting news. We are constantly improving our software. We're constantly trying to think of new solutions to help you as teachers. So what is coming out as part of Equatio is a computer reader for maths. What that means is any of your students that have access arrangements that would be entitled to a human reader in a maths exam can now use a computer reader. This is massive in regards to your students. They will be able to remove themselves away from the human support, which you want them to do because the human support's not always going to be there for them. They will be able to use the screenshot reader within Equatio to have their maths exam read back to them. So we're very, very excited about that coming out. That'll be out very, very soon. If you want any information on this new up-and-coming product, just email maths@education@texthelp.com. We'll get you on the mailing list, and as soon as that comes out, we'll let you know. We've covered an awful lot today. Equatio was so useful, but if you want any of the useful resources that we have a training portal. There's shorter webinars, 15-minute webinars. If you want any of this information, just drop us a little email and we can send them out to you. Just email education@texthelp.com for any of the resources. So thank you very much. I'll just go back and add Jake to the screen and see if there was any questions there. Hi.
No. Hi, Laura. It doesn't look like there's any questions, but as we did say, our email addresses are currently rotating down the bottom of the screen there. So if anybody does want to get in touch, and remember to find out anything more about the computer reader and for maths, just email maths@education@texthelp.co.uk, and hopefully you'll be able to then answer any of those questions. But if there's nothing else, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
And hopefully be seeing you soon.